What is going on, you guys? Tutorial team here, and today I'm going to start off this this series where we're going to build a design system in Figma, and I'm going to start off with a color system. So I'm just going to kind of start off with referencing the website to give you guys an understanding of what we're going to be building out in Figma. And what we're going to be doing in Figma is basically translating. I'm going to give you a brief overview right now of what we're going to be doing throughout the whole course of the video, to give you a general understanding. So we're going to start with the color system, implementing colors, and then adding that into Figma as a library. So you can see them here for those of you who have, for those of you who are able to utilize libraries. You can see this color palette here and all the styles that have been created in that library. So if with my material design system colors file, I'm going to rename that real quick. Material design, and we got material design here. And now if I go here, we're going to be able to add it to this library that will publish eventually with all these colors. But this current file is already published. But what I'm going to do is delete all these real quick. All right, so we have these colors. We have color styles, but we haven't added any to the library. I'm going to show you how to do that. But I'm going to show you how to do that by creating this color system. We're going to use the baseline material color theme to showcase how to build out these colors as styles in Figma for your whole team to utilize in Figma if you're working for an organization, for example, or just a team. It's a much more effective way of working. So basically what I'm going to do is screenshot this to have all these values so I don't have to go back and forth between browsers. And once I have that done, I'm just going to remove everything here. Don't need that. Don't need that. And I'm going to start. This is like a brand spanking new file, so you guys can follow me from scratch. I already have one page, and I'm actually going to label this primitives because this component is a primitive component. So the way we're going to structure all these components in terms of its complexity is from like its very simplest form, that being labeled as a primitive, all the way to components and then patterns, which are composed of several components. And we'll get more into that later. But let's just get started with the colors. So now I have this screenshot pasted here, and what I'm going to do is basically translate all these colors into styles. So without any further ado, I'm just going to create some rectangles, and actually I'm going to hit Control-C to copy this value here. Notice that when I use Control-C, the hex value isn't what's indicated in the screenshot that I've selected to copy the value and apply to the rectangle. So I'll have to manually input that value that's indicated there. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I have completed all of the color values, and I'll see you when that is done. Right, so I've now completed creating all these color blocks for you in Figma, just to kind of visually show you and apply the correct color values, because actually what I wanted to originally do was use the control picker and apply these values, but it doesn't actually reproduce the exact hex value that's specified in the image because of the screenshot that I grabbed. And anyways, long story short, let's make these color styles now. So now we're going to add this into our color system. Currently, we don't have anything in our color system. So basically, what you can do is we already have the naming convention set for our color styles. So we can go to our color and select style, add new style, and it'll basically grab the hex value of the rectangle we selected, and then we can label it as primary. And if we click create style, it'll create that style, and when you hover over it, a tooltip will appear below it, and it'll state the name of the style that you're trying to look for. And also, if you wanted to add labeling, let's say if we create a like primary variant, and we select these little four icons, and then click add style, and then we do primary / variant. This will actually add labeling. So we'll go and you'll start to see that utilizing the slash in the name of your color style, that slash actually creates this label for you to really easily parse information in your color styles, which is very good for like ease of use, as opposed to just like generating all of these colors and then just having them side by side and hovering to access the name of the color you're looking for exactly, and at least divide them into sections to get you one step closer to finding the color you need. And I'm going to unlink that because it's not exactly how I want to approach it. I'm actually going to go here, and if you'll notice too in your color styles, if you haven't published them, they'll be under local styles, and then you can access your library by going to, if you hit Command-Shift ? You can type in library, and then it'll switch you to team library. There's also a shortcut key, Option 3, that'll take you there, and also a shortcut key, Option Command-O, to access the libraries. And you'll notice that I have 19 unpublished changes to publish, and I can publish those, but we'll publish that once we have completed this. And I'm going to continue to create the rest of the colors as I go and label them accordingly. Secondary, create style, and then I'm gonna create this as a primary variant, create style. And one thing you can do as well in the color styles is you can actually drag and drop to reorder the styles. So I'm going to actually right click on this one and delete style. And one thing you can do with color styles as well is that you can go in, edit, and add a description and say this secondary color is used for X component. X meaning the name of the component, or like also on surfaces for X component, as an example. And then once you've completed that, you can hit back and it'll save your changes, and then you can go back into the component, select edit style, and you notice that those changes are now there, which is another nice thing about colors, to get an understanding of usages behind them when using them across, like say you're designing for a product, for example. I'm going to pause this video and generate the rest of these colors, and I'll see you in a bit. So now I got everything done. You can see my color styles as local styles. So I got the baseline of the material theme in its colors, right? And I got them all labeled here from the screenshot I snapped from the website. And I basically just translated that into Figma, and then I applied those as styles all the way from primary to the on-error surface. A lot of them are very similar, but one thing I do not like about this approach that I'll show you in the next approach of applying color styles with a consistent naming convention that clearly labels everything when you try and access it via the drop-down menu, is that this isn't very clear when I'm trying to change the color, right? I just have to hover to find the values, and a description will appear for components that do have a description there, which is why that tooltip was rather large for that color style in this instance, just to provide some context behind that. And anyways, this just isn't clear enough for me to add color styles. So what I'm going to do is Material Design 2014 established right down here in 2014 their color palette. And it's just comprised of colors to work together harmoniously, and basically this is where I'm going to use like a consistent naming convention and structure based off of the colors given here with what I like to call the variables and their hex values, which I'll then apply in Figma. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the top three. So I'm going to go back to Figma, and I'm going to show you before. I'm going to remove all this because I don't want this anymore. I am going to, actually I'll just leave it. And so you can see the difference between how to navigate colors with a consistent naming convention, utilizing the slash when naming these colors in the styles, when creating them as styles. And anyways, I'm going to go here, grab my rectangle, and I'm literally just going to actually copy this block here on background, label it red, and then red 50 to kind of mimic the layout that we have here. And then I'm going to hit Command D to duplicate, and then Option D to snap that to the right, and then type in this hex value. And this whole process you're seeing from me is I'm going to do it once, and then I'm going to pause the video and do it for the rest. And then I'll show you how to properly label everything as a color style in Figma. And then I'll be back. All right, so I have now replicated this screenshot I've taken from the website with the color palette. Well, it's a portion of the color palette that Material Design has to offer you to utilize. And I've just done the red, pink, and purple. So now what I'm going to do is start to show you the difference and how helpful it can be by applying this consistent naming convention to all of the color styles we're about to create for red, pink, and purple, which you can apply to your system. So I'm going to start with red. We got this red 50 value. So we got red 50. We already have the hex value. I'm just going to click add color style. I'm going to label it red because we're going to have a section of reds ranging from values of 1 through 900, from light to dark, and then also A100 to A700. I'm not exactly sure what those values represent, but you get where we're going with this. And I'm going to do red 100 and then specify the hex value as well and the color style, which is always helpful, so you don't have to actually go in and manually apply the style and then unlink it to view the hex value, which I find quite annoying. So we got this format. I'm going to click create style, hit enter. Now we got red 1, so on hover we'll see red 100 and then the hex value, and then if you click away you also see the way we named it is red/100 dash the hex value, which is nice and easy to parse. And again, this is up to you and your team to decide on how you label this in terms of like doing this for an organization, for teams to utilize. Now I'm going to go in and create the rest of these values for red. It's the same process. So we got, what do we got? We created red 100, which is actually supposed to be labeled red 50. I actually wrote the wrong hex value as well, so I'm just going to edit that. And it's red 50. Good to go. Hit enter, tab, go back. Now we see that it's refined and reflects the actual value. Okay, going to do a couple more so you get the idea of how to name your color styles. And then I'm going to pause it and finish reds and then do a couple of pink and then do a couple of purple to see how effective utilizing the slash in your color styles can parse the information when trying to access the colors to apply to your components moving forward when we continue to implement more of this system as it becomes more dense. So we got red 100 here. Gonna add color style. Red 100, good to go. Create color style. So now we got 2 that fall under the red category because we're utilizing red space slash, keeping the naming convention consistent. So I'm just going to copy this hex value, command click on my rectangle with the color that I want to be a style, and then I'm going to paste red 100, but change that to 200, and then reapply the hex value for red 200 and create that style. So now I'm going to move on to creating another category, which is pink. I'm going to copy this again, command click, and add color style, and then we're going to go with pink space slash space 50, and then dash, and then the hex value. Create that style, and you'll notice in the color styles now we have our own pink section to reflect what we'd like to mimic visually, but in our color styles, which will be accessible to everyone once you publish this, because currently these are local styles. As you can see, when you click somewhere random on the canvas, the blank canvas, you'll see the color styles here, but stating that they're only local, but we'll push them once we're done completing this. I'm going to do purple now, because I'm pretty sure by this time you guys already know how to do this, as I've done it multiple times. Going to copy this hex value, select the background, add the color style, and I'm going to go purple space slash, add the hex value there, and then type in 50. Did that. Okay, enter. Now we have our sections of red, pink, and purple. The other sections we haven't implemented from the material design website, which I will do on my own, are the following. As you can see, I've scrolled through a lot of them. It will take a lot of time, but it is the same exact process. But I will pause this video and complete that and show you, and then we'll publish it once I'm done, and that'll be the end of the video. Be right back. All right. I finished creating the rest of the color styles using the method I specified before pausing this video, and you can kind of see how dense the styles became. So each one of these is now a color style organized here from red, pink, and purple. And there's plenty more to go. I will have all of them created for you to reference as well. By that I mean all of these, which are screenshots that I'll convert into this Figma file. Take a little bit of time, but it's not an issue. So now the final step is publishing this. So how do we do this? There's a few ways I'll show you. We can select assets. We can click on this library icon, and that little blue icon right there in the top right corner indicates that there are publishes to be made, changes that publishes to be made or whatever. You can select it, and you can see that you can publish 69 changes. The 69 changes being all the color styles that we have applied to this library. One thing I want to show you is the differentiation between the way we labeled these colors in the beginning and then the way we labeled these three sections in a much more organized and clear, concise manner. So if we go here, create a rectangle, and we want to apply a color style to it, we just select this little icon here, and you'll see that we have these colors, right? And the only way we can really tell what they are labeled as is if we hover over it. And we'll have to wait to see that tooltip pop up as well. And what we did with the colors is we used the slash to indicate what the label was. To the left of the slash being the word red, and then the value being applied to the style, which is red 50, and then also on hover being able to view the hex value as well. And we did that and split up red, pink, and purple in a much more clear and concise manner for the user to navigate and use. And again, this is still somewhat troublesome because of how dense this color palette is, but this is the best solution I think Figma has created for this and myself. If there's any other better ways to do this, please let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys found this video extremely helpful. Thank you for your time. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on GitHub. If not, I'll catch you in the next one. What is going on, you guys? I almost forgot. We still got to publish the library. So I showed you multiple ways of how to publish it, and you just go to View, switch to Team Library, or you can select this icon in the Assets panel. And another way is my shortcut key is Option Command 0. And then you can select Publish Changes, and then you can view every style that was either modified. So in this case, there's a bunch of remove ones, colors that weren't very explicit, and then the colors we added, of course. And then I'm gonna hit, and then you can also add a description as to what you added. So I'm just gonna it's like kind of like a message, like a git commit message in a way, which will display in the version control history once you publish this. So I'm adding colors, adding a portion of the color, the material design color system to the library. And then you have a message kind of explaining what you did, and then publish, and then it'll add this to your library. It's a little snack bar indicating the process, and it's successfully updated. And then you can view your assets. And the nice thing about it is you can view, now if you go to material design, you can view all your colors here, and on hover you can view everything. It's not as nicely laid out as the colors panel here, but yeah, that's how you publish the colors to your library. That is the final step. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.